Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox News early last week, and early this week, some leaks have surfaced of dirt on Tucker. So we have a little video montage of the sort of best of those leaks, and then we will get to the text message that has been the talk of the online world these past few days. So first, a quick video montage, and then we'll get to the text. Here's a montage of some of the juiciest bits of the Tucker leaks.
Well, that was a week, I'll say. Holy shit. 10 hours. That slimy little motherfucker sitting across from me. Oh, you're the best. And I wasn't talking about you. It's just the opposite.
You seem to have a complex.
No, I'm not. What do you mean? Because you've never been this affirmed in your life? I bet. Thank you, Alex. Have a happy weekend. See you, man. The amount, it was so unhealthy, the hate, thank you, Teresa, the hate that I felt for that guy. I mean, thank you, Ted.
It must have been somebody he was interviewing.
How could you not?
I never
Oh, no. This is about the lawyer for the Dominion case.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought that was just a segment.
He's talking about when he had to appear in court for the Dominion case.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I did not know that.
He's talking about the lawyer.
I did not know
Dominion.
that. I should have caught
Yes.
that, but thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't feel that way. I think it's wrong. It's bad. It's totally bad for you to feel that way. But that guy, I mean, he triggered the shit out of me. Fuck it, we'll do it live. This is airing on the nighttime show, and I want it to look official. I don't want it to.
So this is him arguing about why we're doing this segment for the Fox Nation website, because he has a problem with the way that website works.
Bro talk, and I, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the majority of it, like if we go like 45 minutes, it's going to be for Fox Nation.
But nobody's going to watch it on Fox Nation. Nobody watches Fox Nation because the site sucks. So I'd really like to just dump the whole thing on YouTube.
This is like how Russell and I talk an hour prior to the show.
Or like 15 minutes before the show.
Nobody's going to watch that segment. No one's going to care about this segment. This segment sucks. Let's not do it. No,
I just don't understand why they thought this was damaging to him to call the lawyer for Dominion a slimy motherfucker. Right. Especially with a conservative audience. Like why, which presumably that's who you're trying to undermine him with. I don't know why they would have thought that hurt him. And talking about how the fucking Fox website sucks. Like, what, do you think people were going to watch that and go, oh my God, he said bad things about the Fox website. I've completely misjudged him.
Right, exactly. What a monster.
Like, what was this supposed to be?
Yeah, no, it's wild.
But anyway, that's just my view. I'm just frustrated with it's hard to use that site. I don't know why they're not fixing it. It's driving me insane. And they're like making like Lifetime movies, but they don't work on the infrastructure of the site. Like what? It's crazy, and it drives me crazy because it's like we're doing all this extra work and no one can find it. It's unbelievable, actually. I don't know who runs that site.
We're going to play a sizable chunk on the show tomorrow night. That's the plan. And then what it's going to do is drive a lot of people to watch this on Fox Nation. It's going to be a great help to what we're doing up there on TV today.
I know, but we're doing our part. We're like working like animals to produce all this content, and the people in charge of it, whoever that guy's, whatever his name is, like they're ignoring the fact that the site doesn't work. And I think it's like a betrayal of our efforts. That's how I feel. So of course I resent it. You wouldn't? Okay. I'm not, you know what? I'm not qualified on that score, I will say. I thought his girlfriend was kind of yummy. Just kidding, in case this is being pulled off the bird. Yeah, the bird. Hey, media matters for America. Go fuck yourself. That's the first thing I want to say tonight. Second thing is totally kidding. I don't even know what his girlfriend looks like. And if I did, I would not find her yummy. Just kidding, in case this is being pulled off the bird. Yeah, the bird. Hey, media matters for America. Go fuck yourself.
Now, the thing that's interesting about that, media matters
why
for
did
America.
They think? Okay, go ahead.
No, the thing that's interesting about that is that these leaks surfaced on Media Matters.
Right.
So it's almost like he suspected he was being watched and just gave a little fuck you to the people who he suspected would have this footage. Sorry, go ahead.
Again, what part of this did they think was damaging to Tucker Carlson's reputation? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like this makes him look human to cool to his audience.
Yeah.
Like to the audience that he has, like that he called a girl that apparently, according to what he said, he never met, yummy. I mean, to a Fox audience, like they were going to go, oh my God, he seems to have some sexist attitudes.
Yeah, I mean it's off-putting, sure, but
it's a little creepy.
It's a little weird. Like he seems to have a little bit of a douchey sense of humor. Like even talking to the assistant there, what is this? It's the most affirmation you've ever had. You know, a little douchebag sense of humor. You know, which a lot of people have. A lot of people in show business have that, especially people who are pampered stars, right? This is the thing that made the real headlines.
They got him. Yeah,
they got him. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching video of people fighting on the street in Washington. A group of Trump guys surrounded an Antifa kid and started pounding the living shit out of him. It was 3 against 1 at least. Jumping a guy like that is dishonorable, obviously. It's not how white men fight. That was the line they got him. It's not how white men fight.
That's where they got him.
Yet suddenly, I found myself rooting for the mob against the man, hoping they'd hit him harder, kill him. I really wanted them to hurt the kid. I could taste it. Then somewhere deep in my brain, an alarm went off. This isn't good for me. I'm becoming something I don't want to be. The Antifa creep is a human being, much as I despise what he says and does, much as I'm sure I'd hate him personally if I knew him. I shouldn't gloat. Is that it? Sorry, this is very small. Yeah, I shouldn't gloat over his suffering. I should be bothered by it. I should remember that somewhere, somebody probably loves this kid and would be crushed if he was killed. If I don't care about those things, if I reduce people to their politics, then how am I better than he is? What'd you think? I thought that was pretty good.
That was good.
Yeah, I can do a good Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Maybe I could take his time slot.
Nailed it.
I got the presentation down.
Nailed it. Yeah. Actually, it'll be like when they replaced Paul McCartney. I buried
all the stuff about
Tucker.
Sexism. Look, I confused my housemaid for my wife. That's why I touched her where I shouldn't have. I apologize for it. My wife understood.
This is the danger of playing dress up with your wife. Sometimes she dresses like the maid, and you don't know which is which.
And it was an honest mistake, and my wife understands that. Do you understand that? You should. Yeah. Do you? You should. If you don't, why not? Why don't you ask yourself that question?
The white men thing. I saw, what's her name? Emily Jasinski. I saw her trying to talk him out of that. Yeah, that's not going to work. She was trying to say he was being meta. Yeah, no. She's trying to say he's commenting on that stupid trope. Yeah, no. This is, I said this a while back about Hillary Clinton talking about the deplorables, how there's just as much racism in her class, but it's coded differently. And that's what I see there. Look, at the end of the day, Tucker Carlson is a rich heir who spent a lot of his life, or basically his entire life, surrounded by old money blue bloods going to, I'm sure, the best schools among very, 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 very old money white people. And yeah, man, that's how they talk about this shit when nobody's around. Now I'm surprised because he seems like a very smart guy. I'm surprised he was dumb enough to write that down.
Yeah, to put that in the text.
But yeah, man, that's your very like old school blue blood Harvard kind of thing. Well, it's you know what it is? It's very Kipling. It's very Kipling. White man's burden. It's very that, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, the other thing about this that I find kind of suspicious is that Tucker has said racially charged things on the air that he has survived. It seems like Fox is sort of on this campaign.
He always gave himself enough plausible deniability to get out of it, though.
Yeah, but are we really supposed to believe that of all the shit he said on the air, this text message that did not make it on the air that he said privately, are we really supposed to believe that this is largely why they shit canned him? Because
that's ridiculous.
They are on this like crusade against him right now, which is kind of weird because Tucker has, he's made some very sort of coded barbs at them, talking about how, a lot of the narratives that media drive us into are brain dead and things like that. Mm-hmm. But he has not directly called out Fox News or any of his former employers or employees there. Like, he's been pretty civil about
I think there are legal issues because technically he's still an employee.
Well, sure, but what I'm saying
you're not letting him out of his contract.
Well, sure, but they've been going after him quite hard since he left with these leaks. And so it's almost as if they are trying to paint the picture that he just became too extreme for them. He was awkward, he was sexist, he said racist things, which once again, he was fairly awkward, casually sexist, and sometimes more than casually racist on the air. And they didn't really have much of an issue with that, nor do they with most of their hosts who go there on Fox. And so, what? Now they want us to believe that this. I mean,
that's basically their business model.
That's their business model, right? So what? They took a moral stand against him for a text message that no one else saw. Right. I mean, this didn't even come out in court, this text message. This was just a private thing that they leaked for the purpose of, I guess, convincing the public that, I don't know, they want to be less racist than they were when he was on the air. Like, I don't buy that for a second. I think they're trying to distance themselves from him for some other reason. Could have something to do with the lawsuits that they're facing. They just paid out the Dominion suit. They have the Smartmatic suit. Smartmatic, they're being ball busters. They're saying they're not going to settle for less than Dominion got, which means you could be shelling out another $750 million, right? It's got to be something related to that, because to just start putting out leaks against this guy totally unprovoked after you fired him just seems kind of bizarre. It just seems like you're trying to convince the public that you took some moral stand, when I think it's fairly obvious to most objective observers that Fox News did not do and would not do any such thing.
I think it's a few things. I think they're trying to destroy his brand ahead of him inevitably.
That's an interesting angle too. I didn't think
on another platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, eventually, even if they do manage to keep him under contract, that contract's going to expire. And he's still going to be Tucker Carlson. And you're going to have to compete with him on some other platform. So I think they're trying to undermine him. Because why would it? It really shows an ignorance of their own audience, though. Like the things they look. I guess him saying you didn't have that in the cut, his menopausal audience or something. So they did.
Well, there was one that just came out today that I didn't get to put in. Maybe that was one of the newer ones, because there was one that came out today where he asked if like some of the women staffers have like pillow fights or something like that. Just like, again, that weird douchey
again, that's not going to hurt him with his audience.
No, it's not. It's not catastrophic, audience. But it's another example of like weird douchey broy humor. But which, look, I mean, it's not a surprise that that's his sense of humor.
He's been pissing off Tucker, and this is why so many of us on the left have had a very complicated relationship with him, because here's this guy putting Jimmy Dore and Glenn Greenwald on the most watched cable news in the country, right? There was a really interesting article in Axios where a lot of Republicans would only comment anonymously about how they were celebrating that Tucker was gone because he was making it so hard for them to vote for Ukraine, which was what they really wanted to do. But
you mean for the funding of the war, for the funding of the Ukraine war? Yeah,
right. It was making it very hard for them to take those votes because Tucker kept going on TV and calling out the Ukraine war. So they were all very happy. Apparently, I didn't see the actual speech. In the article, they referenced that McCarthy, I guess, said something positive about funding Ukraine, and they said, that's partly because Tucker is gone now.
Right.
So they can change gears. So it's complicated with Tucker. I mean, look, I don't want to hear that was fucking meta. Of course, that's the kind of racism someone of his class would have. Exactly.
Of course, yeah.
That's not the way that white men fight. That's exactly what you would expect from him. He was also the only voice at that level of the game speaking out against a war that could trigger a nuclear exchange. So, that text was the only missile they deployed that sank the battleship. That definitely created a lot of problems for him if he wants to come back. How does he explain that? I mean, that's why I'm saying everything he said on the air that was coded racism, he always left himself wiggle room. He always did it in a way that he could always say, no, I'm not saying anything against a lot of the immigrants who come here are very hardworking people, but
fine people. I don't
they're fine.
No problem with them.
Right. He always gave himself enough plausible deniability, but you can't get out of that shit. You cannot get out of that. So yeah, man, the only path forward I see for him, if he cares, you just have to apologize, man. Like, you just have to apologize, and people are going to accept it. Will accept it. A lot of people won't, but I think the worst thing he could do would be to try to pretend it doesn't say what it says.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, and look, that's very consistent with the kind of views that he has espoused on subjects that are sort of tangentially related to that whole sort of issue when it comes to crime, even when it comes to the immigration issue, right? And, he didn't go there as directly on that, but he went pretty close. I mean, he said things to the effect of, and look, I'm not even talking about like the replacement theory stuff, because Democrats have admitted that demographic changes are going to favor them in these border states. So like, I won't even go there with that, but like, I'm saying, like, just talking about the dirtying of America's cities, like, I mean, that's pretty close to that line right there. It's not as squarely on the head as that text, which is why it is surprising that he would just put that in writing there, but it's not inconsistent, obviously, with a lot of what he has said. And, like, one of the reasons why we've always been interested in him is because, first of all, as I wrote in my article, he's the last of his breed. He's the last truly relevant zeitgeist water cooler sort of TV host who anybody cares what they have to say. Right. But also, the thing that made him interesting to me is that he was this mixed bag. He was this, he combines, I think, very sensible and practical views on a lot of issues with some pretty wretched views on other issues, and we've always kind of said that, so, it is interesting to sort of ponder where he'll go from here. I do think that these texts are survivable, even that. Maybe it shouldn't be, but I think it is, because his fan base is so big. And look, a lot of his fans are fucking racist too. Like, a lot of them are. You know what I mean? Like,
he made a lot of inroads with our side of the aisle, though, and the only way to get those back is to apologize.
Right. Exactly. Right. Because that takes it to a place where, like, it's not really possible to ignore that or pretend that it's something it's not. For us now, for the sort of diehard conservative base, they might not be all too troubled by that. We saw a couple people in the chat saying they weren't troubled by that, so maybe he'll have that audience still. But the thing that made him interesting to us was that he didn't just play to that audience, whereas most of the Fox News hosts do. Jesse Waters went on the air the other day and talked about how he saw illegal immigrants digging through his trash outside of his high rise, and one of the other hosts actually asked him, "How do you know they were illegal?"
I'm not laughing at the people. I'm laughing at
that he would say that
lowness of
saying that.
Something like
no, but then his co-host said, "How do you know they were illegal?" And he said, "You can tell." Right. So like, this is like, look, this stuff is fairly par for the course on Fox News. So like, how this impacts Tucker is one question, but to me, this does not get us any closer to understanding why he was fired.
Please clap.